So, I'm going to be addressing the topic of this talk today, which is answering the question, are third culture kids spoiled people? So this is like one of the biggest misconceptions about third culture kids. And I mean, I get how it got to this misconception, but still it's kind of like, so I just wanted to clarify it for those out there, because I know a lot of you guys who are third culture kids and watching this video might have also gotten this from people who, when you explain who you are to them and where you're from and where you have lived before, they automatically think you're just some spoiled rich kid. So a reason why this is such a big misconception, or why people think that third culture kids are spoiled, is usually because third culture kids have expat parents. So when you're an expat, you are put or moved into another country by a company, and because a company does this, they usually pay for relocation fees and a bunch of other stuff. And depending on what country your company or the company moves the family to, or the parents to, they will give them lots of privileges in that country, because I mean, they were just put there by the company with like zero network, zero anything except for the company. So normally what happens is, if you're an expat, depending on what place you're in, so for example in China, you can get different packages. And an example of a package in China is you can get a house, you can get a driver, you can get a car, you can get a maid, or 2 maids, or 3 maids, and a chef even, and I don't know, a gatekeeper, I don't know. You can get all of those things over there. So a really big reason why you can get those things over there is because the cost of those types of workers is very low in China. So for example, a maid over there could be making like, I don't know, 100 pounds a month or 200 pounds a month. Like, it's a lot cheaper over there than it is in other countries like the UK or the US. So when you hear of third culture kids who have lived in places like Africa or Asia, places where labor is like not so expensive, then you'll probably also hear that these third culture kids have had the privileges of having like a maid or a chef or a driver or, I don't know, a penthouse or whatever else. But this doesn't mean that they're like, spoiled rich kids, rich Asian kid, lol, that movie. Okay, anyway, it doesn't mean that. So for example, I grew up in Beijing, it was one of the places I had grown up in, and my parents were moved there from Guangzhou. So my dad had a driver, and the company paid for the house, and the company paid for all of our tuition fees. So it was, I'm not sure if they paid for a maid, but we had a couple of maids. Yeah, so we were living like, the good life over there, expat life and stuff. But that didn't mean I didn't have to get a scholarship. So I actually got a scholarship for my master's degree, and right now my parents are, right now I have to pay for myself to like live. Like I need a job. I am not some spoiled rich kid that can just spend money all the time and not do any work. So I just wanted to clarify that for everybody, because there have been lots of third culture kids talking to me about this in my Slack channel. If you want to join, by the way, the Slack channel is in the bio. But I'm just saying, before you make a conclusion about what a person is, try and make sure you understand the backstory and everything you can about the person before you make a judgment like that. Because there's a big difference when someone is not an expat and is living in the UK and has a car or many cars and a driver and a maid, etc., and owns a house that's worth like £1 million to 15 million pounds, I don't know. And someone who is living in I don't know, Malaysia on an expat package with a driver, a car, a house, etc. Because the difference there is the person living in the UK, if they move and if they leave their job, their package isn't a package. It's like their money. They're spending all of their income or some of their income to fund those things. So the difference between that and the one in Malaysia, for example, is if that person moves with the company to another place, the company's going to either give them a different package or stop giving them a package at all if they go back to their local country. So yeah, very different. I hope that was clear. Third culture kids are not spoiled. I mean, of course, some of them are, like some of Americans are spoiled, or some of Filipinos are spoiled, or some of any type of, however you want to categorize a person is spoiled. You know, we are all people. Some of the people in this population are spoiled. Like, that's just, yeah. But not all third culture kids are spoiled. Okay? So, just because you're a third culture kid does not make you spoiled. So I repeat, for those people who are not third culture kids, just because someone is a third culture kid does not mean that they are spoiled. Okay, so that was my little rant today. I just want to clarify to everyone because it's been a topic that has been spoken about for a while on social media and on Slack, so I wanted to pitch my 2 cents and yeah. I hope you guys are having a great day and I will see you guys soon. Bye.